Tonight on Steelers Talk, there's a new report from ESPN that claims Mike Tomlin, the Steelers head coach, could still leave Pittsburgh after this season, even though the Steelers just won their first division championship in a half decade. I'll react to that at the top of today's show. Then DeShon Elliott hints at a potential return to the field this year during the playoffs on his IG. I'll let you guys know what I think the plan is for the Steelers starting safety. So make sure you guys stick around to get the latest on Elliott. But before we get into the content today, make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we provide you guys daily Steelers content, not just during the season, but also during the offseason. Whenever the offseason kicks off, we're going to have a bunch of great content for you guys, including breaking news coverage. Every time the con artist makes a big trade, every time they make a big signing, we're going to be live on this channel to break down every single big move that the Pittsburgh Steelers make this offseason. Also, weekly live shows every single Tuesday and Thursday. And then also all that content is 100% free. We'll also be live on Monday night for Steelers versus Texans right here on the channel. So join the over 110,000 strong here on Steelers Talk by clicking that subscribe button this evening. All right, so now let's get into this report from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, who, by the way, has very good connections usually to the Pittsburgh Steelers, says that one of his Tomlin sources says that he could still leave the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2026, even though the Pittsburgh Steelers just won the AFC North championship here and is getting a home playoff game this weekend. This is what Fowler had to say. He says, while no hard evidence exists that Mike Tomlin will step away, and he's been fiercely loyal to Pittsburgh, a source close to Tomlin believes leaving the Steelers is at least a possibility. That and much more in our coaching intel on all 32 teams. And he had his article today. And, Mike Tomlin certainly drives headlines this time of the year when it comes to coaching rumors. So I don't blame Jeremy for leading with that. But this report does contradict with Tom Pellissero's reporting from yesterday on Mike Tomlin, where he says there's nothing at all suggesting that Mike Tomlin is going to leave the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is what Tom had to say on the Insiders yesterday. You can see Mike still has a passion for coaching. My understanding is there are no signs behind the scenes of Mike Tomlin even thinking about potentially walking away from the Pittsburgh Steelers here. So coming up here on Steelers Talk, my thoughts on Jeremy Fowler's report and whether or not there's even a possibility that Mike Tomlin leaves the Pittsburgh Steelers this offseason. But first, a word from our sponsor. It's time to challenge the status quo, and Polymarket is now live to help us do so. You can be a part of the revolutionary alternative to sportsbooks with our special invite code. Download Polymarket's new app now via the special link that is in the description and comments to unlock exclusive early access and a free $10 in your account with the invite code CHAT. Polymarket is a prediction marketplace that lets you make trades on the outcome of sporting events. And as you guys can see on screen next to me right here, you can even buy and sell within the game itself with live trading. Polymarket has the lowest fees ever. You trade against other people and not the platform, and you guys can cash out anytime and react to momentum swings within the game. You are in control. It's legal and available nationwide in all 50 states on their iOS app right now. So for this weekend's Pittsburgh Steelers versus Houston Texans matchup, they have the Pittsburgh Steelers at 42%, which makes some sense there because Houston's coming off of 9 straight wins and have the best defense in football, and the Steelers offense, I should say, has been a little bit hit or miss. So $10 free is waiting for you. No card, no deposit, nothing. Download the app with our exclusive code CHAT at chatsports.com/Polymarket for exclusive early access and $10 free. Now, my read on the Mike Tomlin situation, guys, is that I highly doubt Coach T decides to leave the Pittsburgh Steelers this upcoming offseason, and there's a number of reasons for that. If I can quote Mike Tomlin himself when he was talking about potentially moving to a college coaching position, never say never, but never. I really don't think Mike Tomlin is going to leave, at least not this season. I think he's going to have at least one more season here in Pittsburgh before he considers walking away for a different coaching opportunity or something of that kind. And I'm skeptical of these quote-unquote reports that he's thinking about leaving the team for 2 reasons. Number one, he's showing no signs of wanting to leave, man. He's continuously said how much he loves working for the Pittsburgh Steelers, how he appreciates the work environment in Pittsburgh. He loves the stability that he gets in Pittsburgh, as well as, the history that's involved with the organization, the players that are currently there. He loves everything about being the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the second thing that makes me skeptical of these reports is all the reports saying that he's considering considering a move to TV when he has literally always said that he has no interest in joining the media ever. He's a coach at heart, and this is what he actually had to say today on the Rich Eisen show about potentially moving to TV. He says, I don't participate in any leaking of my future intentions. I can't allow myself to. I'm not even really privy to the specifics of what you're talking about. I just realize this is a component of what I do and what we do, and you better learn to live with it or at least endure it. There's more U.S. senators than NFL head coaches, and I have a respect and appreciation for that and the understanding that some of the things that come with that. I'm institutionalized, man. I got to have coaching. I just love the challenges week in and week out that this job provides, the growth in it, the collective growth, the individual growth. A lot of lessons I've learned in life have been through my football experience and my experiences. I've been on a team every year of my life since 1980, and so I really appreciate it. And guys, this isn't the first time that Mike Tomlin has kind of shut down rumors of him moving to TV. There's a lot of people that have noticed that with Tomlin's way of words, he would be really good at it, but Tomlin has time and time again shut down these rumors, including, again, on the Rich Eisen show in 2023 when he was asked about potentially making a move to the media. He says, I just don't really have a strong desire to evaluate my peers in that way, to participate in the game in that way. I respect the media industry and I appreciate it. I think our fans need it. I think it's very helpful to us in terms of bridging the gap between what we do and helping our fans appreciate it. It's just not my area of expertise or desire. I like to get my nails a little bit more dirty. So listen, man, if Tomlin does decide to leave the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think it's going to be to pursue another coaching opportunity, not to do what Sean Payton did and take a year off to do media and then get back into the coaching arena. I just don't think Mike Tomlin has any desire whatsoever to leave the Steelers to be a member of the media. He is a coach through and through, and he wants to coach. And if he does want to coach, and he does, why would he leave the Pittsburgh Steelers? What job out there right now is a better situation than pretty much the most stable coaching position anywhere in professional sports, the organization that has literally never fired a head coach in the Super Bowl era, and has a history of the Pittsburgh Steelers and has the roster that it currently has right now. I mean, there's really nothing when you look at the profile of the Pittsburgh Steelers that makes you think, yeah, Mike Tomlin wants to leave this team, right? Steady ownership that he has a long-standing relationship with. And by the way, Tony Dungy said today on the Dan Patrick show that he talked with Art Rooney over the weekend, and Tomlin's not going anywhere anytime soon. Also, it's a historic franchise, and Tomlin has talked time and time again about that's an aspect of this job that he really appreciates, is trying to live up to that historic standard. Also, his family is based here. His wife's business is based in Pittsburgh, so it just makes more sense to stay stationed here. Also, the roster for 2026 next year is ready-made, and they are in win-now mode, and they will continue to be in win-now mode because next year is Cam Hayward's final season. So maybe after that, the team might want to embrace a rebuild, and maybe if that's the case, Tomlin will think about moving away to a different team, but not this year. And then, of course, Aaron Rodgers could come back for another year, which only happens if Mike Tomlin returns. So I'm guessing Tomlin would want to return if Rodgers wants to come back. So to me, guys, Tomlin doesn't seem eager to leave. All this media speculation, I think, is just that. I think it's to drive clicks. I think it's to drive engagement and all this different stuff. And, people like change. And the longer a head coach is with a team, the more speculation there's going to be about a coach wanting to move on or whatever, or the team moving on from that head coach. It's just the way things go. But Mike Tomlin, man, he's just as steady as, the organization is in terms of wanting to stay in the same place. He loves his job. He loves the responsibility that comes with being the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he loves the players that he coaches. Mike Tomlin today on the Rich Eisen show said this about his current mindset as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He says, first of all, I'm certainly really appreciative of the work environment that I've been in for 19 years and the stability and the steadiness of our ownership, but man, I'm tunnel visioned. As a leader, I'm called upon to serve these guys, and NFL playing careers are very short, so I certainly can't seek comfort in the longevity of my career. I work with guys who have very very short careers. And Ponzi, you just moved on to the graphic there. He says, I tend to always mirror that urgency. I think it's disrespectful to not have that level of urgency when I lead them. Very rarely do I delve into big picture perspectives or appreciate the longevity component of what I've been able to do. There's just so many things that are waiting for me today, this week, that demand my attention. So if you think Mike Tomlin has been sitting in his office thinking about his next move, where do I go to next? No, man, his focus is solely on this season, the here and now. He doesn't think about those things down the line because Tomlin feels it's disrespectful to the players in his locker room to do so, and frankly, I agree with him. So what say you guys down there in the comment section? What is the percent chance that Mike Tomlin is back with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2026? Put it on a scale of 0 to 100 for me down there in the comment section. For me, never say never, but probably never is he going to leave the Steelers, at least this season. I would say it's close to 100%, but it's never 100%, so I'll give it like 99.5% chance that Tomlin is back next year. Now, speaking of coming back, could DeShon Elliott be back this year? Today, the Steelers starting safety hinted on his IG that he could possibly make a return to the field this year from his knee injury that he suffered in the Green Bay Packer game around midseason. And that would be awesome because DeShon Elliott is a really, really good player. And on his IG today, he posted this picture, and it's kind of hard to see there, but in white, it says TBC ... And for those of you that don't know, TBC means to be continued. And the fact that that's a picture of him playing this year indicates that he might be back on the practice field at the very least really soon, and he might even be able to play in these playoffs if the Pittsburgh Steelers are able to advance to a certain stage of the playoffs this year. And it honestly kind of sounds like his practice window might open this week, all right? Of course, your practice window has to be opened before you can be taken off of IR. And it sounds like, Elliott's been in the building this week. He's preparing to practice this week, and I would not be surprised whatsoever if tomorrow we see DeShon Elliott at Steelers practice, okay? Obviously, that knee injury was pretty bad. It was a hyperextension. But, at this point, if you can make maybe the AFC Championship game or maybe even for sure the Super Bowl where you get a couple extra weeks there to get right, it's a possibility that DeShon Elliott could come back sometime during these playoffs, but I do think the Steelers are going to have to do some work here over the next couple of weeks before that's even a possibility, okay? So it'd be an awesome story if he could pull off a Kyle Schwarber type of thing where, he gets an injury midseason and then comes back for a championship type of performance, and it'd be even better if he played well and helped the Steelers win a championship this year. But obviously, we got to take it one game at a time, 1 week at a time here, and the Steelers got to take care of their business for, I would say, at least a couple of weeks before we even have this discussion about DeShon Elliott returning to the lineup. But let's say the Steelers win a couple games here, and DeShon Elliott is eligible to return for the AFC Championship game. What would happen with the Steelers lineup defensively? Because obviously they traded for Kyle Duggar midseason, and for the most part he's been pretty good, but over the last 2 weeks he hasn't played necessarily fantastic football. For me, I don't think the Steelers want to take out Brandon Echols in the slot, so I think what they would do is they would mix things up. They would go to their 3 safety packages and have Elliott, Duggar, and Ramsey on the field all at once at certain points, and they would have Ramsey essentially play the nickel in that situation. But I think in general what they'll do is they'll have Echols play the slot with Ramsey and then DeShon Elliott at the 2 starting safety positions. That's what the plan is next year for the Steelers anyways, for Ramsey to play safety along with DeShon Elliott. And of course, Duggar is slated to be a free agent next year. So if DeShon Elliott can get back into the lineup before the end of the season, I think the odd man out will be Kyle Duggar. All right, that's going to be it for today's show, though, guys. I really appreciate you guys stopping by here this evening. Tomorrow is the first day of the Steelers' practice schedule as they get ready for Monday Night Football versus the Houston Texans. Plus, Ponzi and I will be going live for our second live show of the week. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Type those real ones for a real one roll call today. If you're a real one, we want to show you guys some love down there in the comments. But we're going to have another slate of Steelers videos for you guys tomorrow for free on this channel. So if you don't want to miss either of those, make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Till next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.